Marcel, can you deep down a bit about where your journey begins? Like, in which
Yes.
point you were like, okay, that's maybe my path.
Okay. So first of all, now I'm part-time coach in self-employed and part-time also at the gym locally here. And it all started like my journey started 13 years ago when I first started strength training. Before this, I played 10 years soccer. But then with time and everything, I needed more flexible sports, so I went to the gym and fell in love with it from beginning on. So yeah, this is my own journey. 13 years, most of the time in the gym, and yeah, by the years, when you get better results or you start to get more knowledge, friends around you, they ask you all the time some questions. How about my training plan? How about my nutrition? Can you help me with some exercises? And it happens fast that you get in a coach kind of role. So was it with me, and I really liked it because I thought, okay, I know more than my friends. I see they are making a lot of mistakes, and I can easy help them to get better. So,
Mm,
or avoid injuries and something like this. And yeah, after the years, it went more and more. And at some point, I think this was now 5 years, 6 years ago.
mm,
Um, I thought about, okay, why don't make the step and don't or um, make it like a job. So
mm,
like a coach as a job and not just as hobby for some friends. And yeah, because it was a time I first had my own coach, so I got more into this serious coaching, one-to-one coaching with someone who's making a living out of it. And I thought, okay, should be pretty cool. Why not try it myself? Because I'm right now helping the people, but just in a kind of hobby and not in a professional way. So I yeah started taking on my first clients. Were friends or starting with them for free to like just get building up like a coaching system. Like
mm,
it is something different if you coach someone one to one in a professional way than just giving some recommendations about the training plan or exercises. So yeah, it took me a few months and the first clients, and I pretty fast fell in love with it too. So yeah, I stick to it, and now it's a big time of my week and of my job, I would say, over the
mm.
last years. Yeah.
Amazing. I also think it's like one of the best ways to dive in because like you are allowed to make failures. Like for
Hmm.
example, like you have a professional client, it's completely different when you have some friends and you give some advices and they say, ah, maybe it doesn't work like that, and then you learn about the things and say like, okay, maybe this client needs more that and this that, and that's also very good. In your experience over these years, what would you say what separates the people who achieve their goals and the people who don't achieve their goals?
Yeah. That's a good question because I would say, like in the first beginning, it was a big more part from myself, the coach part, when I don't have any big knowledge or something. Like I know training and nutrition, but I didn't know back then how to apply it correctly to some clients. I would say in the first, yeah, maybe year, it was more percentage by myself, that I couldn't make the quite, yeah, correct management for the clients. But after the years, I learned more and more, and I can tell because I also had some more problematic clients, a big, really big part, it sounds like, okay, heard it enough, but it is the why. Why are you doing this? It is
Mm,
so important. I've seen it so many times that the people with a really good why they want to achieve a decent physique or strength levels, or I don't know, maybe lose some body fat, if they really have a good why, um, they show more discipline, they stick to the plan more and often, and so they get better results. And a lot of people who just go in there and think like, okay, now I have here a coach by my side, and this should help enough, but they
mm,
don't get into work and they don't have the best results. Yeah.
understand. Maybe we can deep down a bit on the why part. What
Mhm.
would you say is like good whys, right? Like in your experience, which kind of whys were good
Yeah.
and which kind of whys were like, oh, sorry, I think this will not work that much.
Yeah. So it needs to be a bit more deep down. So not just like, okay, I want to lose some fat because I want to see my six pack. Most of the time it is something deeper and deeper layers. Like, okay, I had a client who his goal was to like lose fat, but he didn't have the right tools till the state. And when we talked in the first on our first appointment, he told me like, okay, well, I could get it out of him because in his youth he was also like yeah, more a bit more of a chubby child,
Mm,
and so he had some problems in the school with mobbing and also some things like this. And this was his why. We really like had it in front of us, and so he was like on fire to lose his body fat because
mm,
he was like, okay, I will show them something like this.
yeah.
And I think when you really want to push yourself or go to hard times physically with the sport, with performance, you need to have a really good why. Why do you want to do this?
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Yeah.
not just yeah, I just want to look better. So okay, I
Mm.
think everybody wants.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Like it has to be some kind of very like personal, like intrinsic,
Yeah.
and like to get the pushing the limits, some kind of.
Yeah, sure. Because when
Mm,
it gets harder, that you have something in your mind, so you push through and don't just give up because the goal is not yeah, it's not so hard for you.
yeah. Yeah. I think like when you say it gets harder, like in my own experience and also with clients, there's always one or several points like in this journey of like building your body, building your mind. It's like you don't want to do it. It's like, okay, I'm exhausted. Time, do I train? And how do you like interact with your clients when they hit this time? How
Mhm.
important is that this time, or is it not important to skip these days where you don't want to go?
I think it kind of depends, like what client you have in front of you. I would say this also is like some more of psychological stuff. Like there are people who um, communicate different. And for some clients, you need to tell them the truth, like pretty hard in their face. And they are, okay, thanks. Now I know what to do. But there are some other clients or other people you need to go with a little bit more soft communication. So they get like more motivation to push through these hard days and don't are like okay, this is too much for me. I don't want to like my coach like yelling at me or something.
Mm,
And you have to figure this out by the time and by knowing your clients, I would say. So everyone is a bit different, but at these points, you really need to communicate something. You really need to say, okay, remember, this was your goal, this is your why.
mm,
If you stop now here, it is done, it is over. But we can manage it, and then it also helps like when you show them what to do, what they need to do. Um, so they have like, okay, I see now what I need to do to get this one step more forward. I think to get maybe some more practical advice here or example. I coached also two guys in their natural bodybuilding prep,
mm,
and I would say this is pretty hard preparation because I did it two times by myself, and I know it's it's really hard at the end. And yeah, it helps really a lot when hard times come to communicate in the right way and show what they need to do to get this next step. Yeah.
mm,
So if you know, okay, it is hard, but I know I know exactly what I need to do now, the chances are better that you're actually doing it.
mm. Yeah, you mentioned right now like the hardness if you are in the prep of the competition. What are the hardness? I think most of the people they're listening, they
Yeah.
never did these kind of preps.
Yeah, it is hard to describe because some thing I would say you can't believe how hard it is or how it feels unless you are in this situation by yourself. Because walking around with really 6 or 7% body fat, not what is on Instagram or TikTok, 6 or 7%, but actually 7 or 6% body fat, the world is not beautiful anymore. And you just like most of the people, I know there are some guys who have no problems with it. It also is like a big genetic part. But for, I would say, the most guys, including myself, you are in your head 24/7 with food, but you can't eat that much, and your body has all the symptoms like you are starving to death because the body fat levels are
Mm,
so low. And maybe 2 more or 3 more days without food, and you're dead, actually.
mm,
So you get to this point, and your body gives you all the symptoms to just eat. So you don't have any more any energy because the preparations they go from 6 to 8 months, the diet, and you are walking like a zombie. And but the hard part is you also like you have your normal life, you have your family, your friends, you have sometimes your job, also the training. You need to push as hard as in the beginning of the preparation because when you now train more softly in the gym, you will lose all your muscle because of
mm,
this hard caloric deficit. And so, in the end, when you just think about food and your body has all the symptoms, you don't have any energy, you need to push 5 times, 6 times a week, as like when you're in a caloric surplus. And this is pretty hard to just keep continuing. Also, then comes the special point with and for bodybuilding competition with posing. So you're exhausted as hell, need to hit the gym, need to make your steps, sometimes cardio, and then every day half an hour doing your posing. When you can't feel like your muscles are so empty without
mm,
glycogen and everything, so you don't feel your muscles when you flex, and then you need to flex like in half an hour per day or trying to get your posing routine in, and this is yeah, it's
mm.
in the end it's pretty hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like that's fascinating if you are able to push through because these are your limits and you push always like not one day but like a several weeks. during
Yeah.
these immense limits. What does it what does it do with your mindset? Maybe after you achieve that, what gives you like the edge there?
Yeah, so I think in this point I can just talk for myself out of these two bodybuilding competitions or competition preps. You are in this hard state, I would say, that I described. You are like 1 to 3 months in this state. If you really want to get your body fat to down levels. Um, Also, to mention in the natural context, I don't have any experience in other contexts of the sport. And yeah, you just have this mindset of just pushing through. I can imagine like some of my leg sessions, they were so hard. After some sets, I was like, I had blackout. I just fell on the floor because I couldn't hold myself on my legs anymore. And the other guys in the gym, they asked me, "Hey, is everything okay? Should I get you something, water or so?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's just prep, so it's okay. It's just training for me." And you really get this mindset of no matter how hard it is, you just push through,
Mm,
and you take this also out of the prep. Like for me, it was after the preps. The training was really great because I had this, okay, I push through everything. I take every pain in the gym, and this combined with a caloric surplus after the prep is really great because your training is at a state that is unbelievable high because you can push really, really, really hard, and then you get also the calories and the energy, and your body responds very well. So after this, I would say this, yeah, after the preparation, most people they have like gaining back muscles, gaining back weight or strength, like when they began training in the first years. So
mm.
also like after 10 years of training, bodybuilding competition, and then going back in a caloric surplus, you just have like you make your gains like in the first years of training. So
Mm.
this is really great to see. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting. I was thinking also about the topic, how do you perceive yourself? Because like in the prep, you have like your six pack, the muscle definition is there, but after that, you gain very fast weight, you know? It's like
Yeah.
this beautiful like Hollywood scene you have, but then after that, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's not the same. I feel better, but like how is it like for yeah for you or like also for the clients when they see this big difference in like, oh, okay, I'm not any more like that lean.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a great question because it not just appears for the bodybuilding competition or people who make a bodybuilding competition and competition prep, but also for lifestyle clients who make a good diet and like they have the physique of their lives with low body fat, really like striated shoulders and the veins everywhere. And most of the time, like when you do it in summer, you train in your tank top, you are at the sea, at the beach, and you also get recognized for it sometimes. And the people around you or your friends and family, they give you this kind of personality. Oh, he's the shredded one, something like
Mm,
this,
yeah.
and it gets more to your personality, like that you are this shredded person, but it's not I would say a physique you can attain too long because it's
Mm,
not the healthiest physique we can say
yeah.
at such low body fat levels. And also like if you want to grow for more years and put on more muscle, you need to get back in the caloric surplus to build more muscle again. So the ripped shredded part, the diet, at some point it is over, and you need to put back on body fat. And
Mm,
what really helped me or a lot of clients when you lose this physique you have, or you don't lose it actually, you just take on a layer of fat with you, but the you look the same under the fat.
Yeah.
um, you switch your focus to strength in the gym
Mm,
because at this low body fat levels, the gym performance is not the best. You have less energy. Also, some things like when you have a bit more layer of fat, you perform better because I don't know the exact English word, but like when you are for pushing movements and you have here at your arm, you have less fat. So your elbow here is more air and
mm,
your muscle needs to compensate it. If you have more fat here, you have something who what is here, and
yeah.
so your strength levels also get better because you have a bit more fat around your body like in a big squat or push movement, you have advantage because of the fat. And yeah, you just need to switch it to getting stronger because this is what will happen when you eat more, when you get in a caloric surplus. So not be anymore the shredded person at the beach, but be more like someone who is really strong at his lifts in the
Mm,
gym and someone who gets stronger over the couple of weeks or months and switching your focus for strength. This is what helped me really a lot. So I didn't care after my competition how I looked. I just was like in a big hoodie and putting on weights, putting on also body weight, eating more and more, and I had no problems like
mm.
with this.
Okay, that's very very helpful. What would you say, like going on the part of gaining weight and losing weight? Because I know there are so many clients, they have maybe problems to gain weight, others have
Yeah.
problems to lose weight. What are like maybe it's individual, but what are like maybe some kind of hacks, tips where like you say over the years I figured out that's like a simple change, but it can help so much. Let's start with gaining weight.
Mhm. I would say for both parts, it is really helpful to like have some statistics or some data. First, starting with your body weight yourself, like weighing yourself every day or at least 3 to 4 times a week, and then seeing over the week, okay, what is your weight per week, and then seeing the changes over the weeks. It helps really a lot. So not just looking in the mirror because gaining weight or losing weight, it takes a lot of time. So when you look yourself in the mirror every day, you don't notice the differences. So you need to like have some data on your body weight. And then also, yeah, um, when someone has problems with like um, getting more strict with your nutrition in form of calories, like to know how many calories are you consuming, um,
Mm,
and then making sure you get your nutrients correctly in, like to eat a good amount of protein and enough carbohydrates for the performance, enough fat also for your health, for hormone levels. I think these two combined can help a lot of people, but then yeah, you have some people who also like it just isn't enough to have the data, but they have some like you need a more psychological part, I would say,
mm,
something like this to really see, okay, is there any barrier in the head of putting on weight or losing weight, eating
mm,
less? Are there some part of the in the past who makes it hard for some people to eat less? This is also, I would say, important. Yeah.
Okay. And what would you say, like for example, setbacks, like injuries, bad weeks, how does it shape also the character or the growth of a person?
hmm Mm, it also depends on the person, but for most people, if they have a good mindset to it in form of, okay, now I'm injured, now I have a setback, but I will come back stronger, and they actually do it, it's such a good part for your mindset because when you come back after injury, I experienced it myself the last 6 weeks because I started a few months ago Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and
Mm,
combined with strength training, many new movements. I had like in a few months I had four bigger injuries, and 6 weeks ago, a really hard injury on my knee. So couldn't walk for a few days, couldn't bend my leg, and I was like, okay, shit, I love strength training, I love training my legs. Now I can't walk anymore. But I kept cool. I managed my sleep. I
mm,
really looked forward to, okay, my biggest goal is get healthy again. So
mm,
regenerate, recover, and back in the gym, like to progress the weights or in any different sport, like to really get back to your sport and do it on a level you can manage with your injury and then really get back on your old level of performance. And so that you are at this level, and then, okay, I'm back from my injury, so there's nothing what can stop me.
mm. I understand. I think that's relates also like to everyday life if you go through like these kind of things. What would you say is like one of the lessons from training, from gym, from to applies directly to business and also life?
Mhm. To like when you work your ass off, you get some results, I would say. There is nobody who can give you a good physique or a good performance in a sport. It is all done by yourself, by the amount of training and discipline you get in there. And what you get in, you get out. And I would say this is also like in many parts of life. And when you experience it in sport, where there are no big risks, like when you are in business and you give pretty much in a part and you lose money or something, it is hard for your life. But when you give time in sport and you don't have these big results, it's not a risk for your life, I would say. So it's a good risk-free way of learning this. The more you give into something, the more you can get out of it.
Mm,
And that when you really work hard, you get good results. And
mm.
this also goes then for like relationships or business.
Okay. What would you say, what was like one of the biggest challenge building your own brand, your own company? What are like one of the biggest challenges you faced so far?
For me, I would say is to make the switch because it started as a hobby, and I till then just had like jobs where I had my boss who tells me, okay, you go there, you do this at this time. These are your the work you need to do. And now you are more in a self-employed state, so you have to like manage everything on your own. You have
Mm,
to show discipline in everything because also when it's like a hobby to coach some people, at some point it is there are points in this business who aren't such fun, like just coaching the people, because you have to make sure, okay, How about your finances? How about marketing? How about your taxes and everything? And you really need to do all this also, and not just coach, but the coaching part is the fun part. And so you have to like figure out for yourself, okay, how can I apply all this other stuff to the coaching part that I have fun with all of it? Because it's
Mm,
not just a small hobby, it's a, yeah, you make a living out of it.
mm, understand. Marcel, like our last question is always the same. It's
Hmm.
like when you and me tomorrow would die, and we had
Uh-huh.
like you had only
I hope not.
one. We hope not.
Yeah.
We had only one piece of advice, and you had only one piece of advice. Which kind of advice you would give the world?
Everything ends at sometimes. I read it in a book, I think last year, and I thought it was pretty cool because in the context there, it it was like not just the good things end, but also the bad things end at sometimes. And like when you go through a hard time of your life, but also in a good time of your life, you really need to make sure or be sure that at some point it ends. And this can be good or can be bad, but you just need to accept it. Um, and also, when you're in a hard time, at some point in your life, the hard times are over, but good times also. So yeah, I would say everything ends at some point.
Thank you, Marcel.
Yeah.